Hello and welcome everyone to PW Only IAS English channel. So we are here with another yet interesting session after economic survey. We are coming up with the top 10 key highlights of budget 2025-2026. What is in it for middle class? Have the income tax rates been slashed? What is in it for the MSMEs? What is in it for the agriculture sector? So government has come up with a very interesting theme: Garib, Yuva, Annadata and the Antyodaya. Okay, so the program envisages domestic-led growth considering the global headwinds. Yesterday, economic survey gave us the lesson, gave us the prescription for the government that we need to be cautious about Donald Trump's policies, international adverse economic scenario, Russia-Ukraine war, etc., and China's growth in manufacturing sector. So in that scenario, whenever an economy which is globally integrated faces some strong headwinds, faces some resistance or pessimistic scenario in the international market, in the international trade arena or scenario, then domestic growth is the best way to go. India, a country of 140 crore people, a good market in itself, if its demands are to be fulfilled, then we need domestic-led growth model. Its own demand can take the growth to around 6.3 to 6.8%, which is the target of budget this year. If the growth was around, revised estimates of the budget 2024-2025 tell us that in the previous year, in the year that is going on, the financial year 2024-2025, the growth was around 6.4%. Well, the final estimates will come later on. Now, the 6.4%, if it was the growth, government is giving itself the leeway that growth will be somewhere around 6.3 to 6.8%. So that means that if this much of growth is created or happens in the economy, the tax revenue, the government will be able to collect taxes to the extent of 28.37 lakh crore rupees, which means that around 28 lakh 37,000 crore rupees out of the total budget of total expenditure of the government is going to be 50 lakh 65,000 crore rupees, 50.665 lakh crores. Okay, out of which 28 lakh 37,000 crores will be able to be generated on the basis of taxes, GST, income tax, corporation tax, everything included. By the way, I should ask one question from you. Is GST a part of the budget? Please answer in the comment section. These type of questions these days are being asked because for GST a separate, can the GST rates be changed with the help of the under the budget, you can say. Okay. So this was Nirmala Sitharaman's 8th budget. This was Nirmala Sitharaman ma'am's 8th budget, and this practice of releasing economic survey one day prior to the budget, as I told you yesterday, 1964. Before that, economic survey and budget were released on the same day. Now coming here, the fiscal deficit is estimated to be 4.4% of the GDP. Okay, so 4.4% of GDP, we are going to spend more than this year's GDP income. This year's country's income, 4.4%. So this number is important, and GDP has been following a declining path in the sense that year after year, fiscal deficit has been following a declining path. Year after year, we are reducing it. Now this year it's going to be 4.4%. We are going to talk about other deficits also, primary deficit, revenue deficit, and these things are supposed to comply with the Fiscal Responsibility Budget Management Act. Okay. Now focus here. If you are able to see these figures, we've already shared it on the Telegram channel of PW. Now here, 50.65 lakh crore rupees to be spent by India, and the spending is going to be on micro, small and medium enterprises, because the reasons are obvious. If the global economy is declining and if the Indian economy is well integrated, so micro, small and medium enterprises are less exposed to the countries like US, etc. The big companies like Tata's, Ambani's, Adani's, they may be the most affected because of the US tariffs, because of the war in Russia, Ukraine, okay, between Russia and Ukraine. Big companies are more exposed, so they may not be able to generate as much growth. That is why, my dear students, production linked incentive scheme budget has been slashed from 3500 crore rupees to 2800 crore, somewhere around 2800 crore rupees. Production linked incentive scheme was primarily meant for increasing India's exports. Now, it is very clear that government is focusing on the domestic sector led growth. The Parle-G example that I usually give in my classes. Why? Because if global scenario is going to be adverse, production linked incentive scheme, despite giving the incentives to the entrepreneurs, the exporters to produce more, they may not be able to export. Why? Because high tariffs in US, not only in the US, emulating or copying US actions, other companies in the Europe, other countries in the European Union might also increase taxes. Protectionism, the wave of protectionism that is going on, as highlighted in the economic survey yesterday, we have to have a domestic growth led model. And the economic survey also, we saw that our investment rate has to increase from 31 to 35% in order for us to achieve the growth rate of GDP growth rate of 6.3 to 6.8%, the target this year. Then only if the investments are going to increase in the economy by 4%. What else does the budget say? Let's talk about the interesting themes. This is all revenue data. Tonight I'm going to come up with the detailed analysis of budget terminologies. My endeavor would be to share all the terminologies in the budget this year on the Telegram channel Jatin Verma PW Only IAS English. You can find the link in the description of this video stream also. That if you go through those terminologies, the explanation, the formulae that I'm going to share, it will help you get hold of the understanding that we are going to see in today's class at 9 p.m. on budget. It will be a conceptual class, not merely reading out of the budget speech. Okay, I'm trying to explain everything so that you get a hang of it. You can retain things better. Now see here, fiscal deficit year after year due to COVID. My dear students, please focus here. You have to be attentive. It's not another sensational session that I'm going to take. 2022, 2023 effective revenue deficit or fiscal deficit. In the aftermath of COVID-19, government had to spend more even as government's tax collection was going down, because of which the total expenditure was more than total income of the government, tax income, non-tax income during those years. Now, because of which our fiscal deficit shot up to 6.4%. Government was trying to revive the economy during that time, applying Keynesian policy. What did Dr. Keynes say? J.M. Keynes said that government needs to increase its expenditure in order to revive the economic activity. So government revived the economic activity even though the recovery in India was, U-shaped, kind of taking more years or more time to recover back to the same levels. It wasn't as good. It could have been U-shaped or V-shaped also, but it was U-shaped, prolonged recovery period. But due to which government had to spend more and government's fiscal deficit increased to 6.4%. Now, according to N.K. Singh panel, if you are understanding things here, N.K. Singh committee was appointed in the year, and then this finance commission also came up. They said that government has to follow the gliding path. Gliding path is the path followed by an aircraft to bring down the fiscal deficit. Gliding, okay, it's not a rocket path as the rocket is coming down. No, it's a gliding path. Gliding path is slow but gradual. Okay, gradually you have to reduce fiscal deficit. Why gradual fiscal deficit withdrawal? Fiscal stimulus package that is given to revive the economy. Why should that be withdrawn gradually? Because if the government will abruptly stop spending more on the economy will fall into recession again, which is what UPSC asks the questions around, and they call it as double dip recession. Double dip means economy revived briefly and then it sank into, you can see here, double dip. Okay, there was a brief recovery period and then it fell again. That is what we call as double depreciation. That is why the government wanted the recovery to be gradual and gradual withdrawal of fiscal deficit. That means for every 100 rupees of India's GDP, government was spending 106.4 rupees. Next year, 105.6 rupees, 104.8 rupees, 104.4 rupees. Now, this is the target for this year. Okay. And now, what is the target for revenue deficit? Revenue deficit means of the government's total revenue expenditure, how much should be government's own income, revenue income which is recurring in nature. So revenue deficit target is 1.5% this year. Okay. Revenue deficit formula you should be knowing. Revenue deficit is equal to revenue expenditure minus revenue income. So that means income is less, expenditure is more. Salaries, government pensions, employees pension, etc. Now this year onwards, since pay commission report would also be applied to all the 60 lakh, around 60 lakh government employees, central government employees, pay commission revised salaries would have to be paid, because of which government's revenue deficit is likely to increase. But if we are able to, you see here, last year it was around 1.3%. Even though the target was 1%, but it went up to 1.3% of the revenue income. It shot by 1.3%. Now it is this year expected to be more. Why? Because of the pay commission. If this question comes, why the revenue deficit is increasing, you should be knowing it. Okay. Central and state governments would have to pay higher salaries to their employees. So that is the reason here. Now, what is effective revenue deficit? That is why I said, rather than spending time on each of these formulae, what we will do is I'll share all these formulas on the Telegram channel, making the job easier for you. A one-page document it will be. After this session of top 10 highlights gets over, maybe another 30 minutes or so, what we'll do is I'll sit and share the formulae and the conceptuals or jargons that are there. The conceptual things will be shared on the Telegram channel. Reading that PDF of 1 or 2 pages, come back at 9 p.m. so as to get a clarity. Okay, I'll try to be as detailed as possible, but it is going to be your job to read those things up. Okay, now budget, Garib, Youth, Annadata, Nari. These are going to be the 4 soldiers, you can say, in this year's budget story, if I may use the word soldiers. Why? Because government is going to uplift, government is going to handhold the poor people, the destitutes, so as to increase country's consumption. If you give more ration or credit or money to the poor people, they are going to buy more goods like Parle-G, Tata Tea, Colgate, etc. That will increase the demand. Okay, with which youth might set up entrepreneurs, micro, small, medium enterprises. Okay, or youth will get jobs. These youth will then buy more goods. Again, primary goods will improve. Annadata. And then women empowerment. In the newspapers also, we have been seeing that more women-led informal enterprises are coming up, right? So tapping the untapped power, Nari Shakti, as we say it here. Garib, youth, Annadata and Nari, these words have been used in the budget this year. Now, coming here to the other aspects, a country is not just its soil, a country is its people. This is the poem used in the budget, poem given by great Telugu poet or playwright Gurujada Appa Rao. So, Appa Rao's poem has been used, that a country is not just its soil, it's the people of the country which make the country. So for that, if we want to achieve the this tag of Viksit Bharat, developed country, if we want to come in the league of developed countries, by what year are we targeting? 2035. We want to come in the league of developed countries, so we need to accelerate growth. What is the government's target? As per economic survey and budget, our decadal average growth rate, DAGR, decadal average growth rate should be 8%. How much is it? How much should it be? 8%. How much is it? 6.4%. How much is the target? 6.8%. Now we need to gradually take it to From this 6.4, 6.8%, we need to gradually take it to 6.8 next year, then 7.2, then 8%. If we would be able to achieve a growth rate of 8% in by 2035, all our people would achieve a per capita income which will be sufficient to enter the league of, or the committee of these big countries, developed countries. Our per capita income right now is around 2500, 2300 US dollars per person in India. If we divide India's GDP by its total population, how much is each of the Indian on an average earning? 2300 US dollars. What is the income in countries like Oman, US? $45,000, $50,000 in US. Oman type countries, 25,000 US dollars. So we are way behind these countries. That is why if we want to reach a level where there is health facilities, there are health facilities for everyone. There are this 100% water facility, tapped water, domestic water supply for everyone. Then everybody should be insured. Everybody should be schooled, educated, skilled. To reach that level, what we need to do? We need to grow at this rate. Financial inclusion has to be there. More people opening bank accounts and money going into those bank accounts. Okay, even though we have opened a lot of bank accounts during Jan Dhan Yojana phases, but are those accounts active? So that is the point. Okay, now economic survey yesterday also warned us about over financialization of Indian economy. In the today's daily current affairs class also, I was dealing with this phenomena, but some technical glitch had happened. So over financialization means middle and lower middle income classes are opening demat accounts. They are investing in mutual funds, highly risky mutual funds. They are investing in bitcoins. They are investing in options trading or bitcoins, or more of them are borrowing loans. So economic survey also says that we need to safeguard low income families in India from over financialization. Instead, the real sector should grow. Okay, then secure inclusive development. What is inclusive development? Sabka saath, sabka vikas. We should not let the poor people lag behind. Okay, so inclusive growth, that is why the word Garib has been included here. A bit of discussion on each of these pointers helps you memorize things better. Now coming here, enhance spending power of India's rising middle class. How to increase the spending power of India's rising class? Credit card culture, which is not good. Okay, giving them skills, which is good. Enabling the credit guarantee for micro, small and medium enterprises. Credit guarantee for my MSMEs has been increased up to 20 crore rupees for loans, right? That will generate income for entrepreneurs, for people who are business owners. So that will be there. Invigorate private sector investments, increase the private sector investments. In the last few days and weeks, we have been talking about declining private sector investment. Now, in the light of increasing fiscal deficit, in the light of government's expenditure being more than government's income, what is happening? Government has its hands tied. Government cannot spend more. Okay, so private sector needs to come forward. How will private sector come forward? When countries' savings rate or investments rate increases from 31 to 35%. Okay, that means of the 100 rupees that we are earning in the form of GDP of India, we should be investing 35 rupees. If that happens, we will achieve a growth rate of 8% on a decadal basis. Starting from 24, 25 till 2035, 8% growth rate is what we need. Uplift household sentiments. People are gloomy these days that recession is coming in the global arena, that inflation is increasing in India. Okay, that sentiment makes people pessimistic, makes people not to spend as much as they would have spent otherwise. Right? So if the sentiment of the households that their jobs are secure, no amount of artificial intelligence is going to eat away their income or erode their income or reduce their income. So if the government comes up with that kind of a hand holding, households will then get the courage to buy new appliances, new air conditioners, new laptops, new devices, new books, then only they will go for MBA, engineering degrees, then only they will borrow loans, then only they will buy new cars. That will lead to consumption. If the consumption would increase, production would catch up. If the production increases, employment would increase. So virtuous cycle, a good cycle of economic activity would set in motion again. Okay, now coming to the most sensational topic every year out of the budget, what is in it for the middle class? Have the tax rates been reduced? Yes, tax slabs have been broadened. Nil tax slab under 12 lakh. Okay, so 12 lakh 75,000 for salaried taxpayers with a standard deduction of 75,000. Okay, so 12 lakh 75,000, up to 12 lakh you don't have to pay any tax. 0 to 4 lakh rupees nil tax otherwise, and then 4 to 8 lakh rupees you have to pay 5%, then 8 to 12 lakh you have to pay 10%, but then there is a standard deduction of 75,000 rupees. So more people now won't have to pay tax, and the upper tax slab, highest income tax rate of 30% will now be charged on people who are earning above 24 lakh rupees per annum. Okay, suppose if a person's income is 50 lakh rupees, he will have to pay tax of 30% on 50 minus 24, 26 lakh rupees at 30%. Okay, so this is the criteria here. Now, journey of development: agriculture, MSME, investment, exports. Agriculture seems to be in the limelight again after COVID years. It is in limelight again. Why? It is a matter of discussion. Whenever the government, whenever the economy is reminded of domestic growth led model, the engine of agriculture gets the limelight, gets the due attention. In India, agriculture has been growing around 3 to 4%. Okay, sometimes 2.4% depending upon vagaries of climate, monsoon. Monsoon is sometimes not that good. It is sometimes very good. Bumper crops are there. So agriculture as an engine of growth. Then the next engine is service sector. Then the next engine or pillar is manufacturing sector. Then another sector is exports. Okay, so service sector includes banks, etc. The jobs of bank is the job of the financial sector is to supplement the activities of two sectors, manufacturing and agriculture. Manufacturing in India will take its own time to grow. We are competing with good countries like China. Okay, when it comes to the global arena, global market, WTO market share, India's market share in the overall market of the world, we are competing with countries like the US, China, Japan. Why not focus on domestic arena? Why not focus on the agriculture income now when the engine of exports is not going to be that helpful, thanks to wave of protectionism, thanks to Donald Trump and nationalism, thanks to China India rivalry? We may not be able to see that kind of an income generation, GDP growth from exports or service sector. Infosys employees H1B visa, they may not be able to get contracts. Infosys, TCS, Wipro, the countries which provide software services or services to economies like Germany, US, UK, they may not be able to get as much business because Europe overall is seeing the wave of recession and US protectionism. So we need to focus on domestic agriculture led growth model. Next pillar could be MSME. As I said, that government has revised the ceilings for MSME. We are going to see in the next few slides. So MSME ceilings have been revised. Then investment. What is the investment thing I told you? We need to increase our investments from 31 to 35% of GDP. Exports, again, it is kept at the last. Why exports? Because we need to manage our imports. Okay, gems and jewelry, we need to export. Petroleum products, we import crude petrol, crude oil, but we refine it into petrol, diesel, gasoline, etc. We are importing it to some of the countries. So those kind of exports which are necessary to manage India's trade deficit, India's current account deficit, are going to be important. Okay, so destination is, see, the fuel. What is going to be the fuel? Yesterday the President of India said reform perform, transform. Fuel is going to be reforms. What type of reforms? Ease of doing business reforms. Under ease of doing business, what further reforms? Labor reforms. LPG reforms 2.0. Dr. Manmohan Singh is gone now, right? And it's been like more than 3 decades. We brought about those reforms. Now is the time for LPG 2 type of reforms. They have already started. They are going on in piecemeal mode, in bits and pieces. GST we brought about. Then we are going to bring about new tax bill in the next 1 month. Okay, new taxes bill that earlier was brought about as Direct Taxes Act or Direct Taxes Code. New tax bill where all the laws that have been brought about since 1961 will be refined and compiled into a code like thing, like we have CRPC या भारतीय or भारतीय न्याय संहिता. That kind of a compilation will have to be brought out so that reforms are carried out. Then other pointer I told you is labor reforms. Factories can work for 24 hours. Workers will get flexi pay. No 8-hour fixed norm. If a worker wants to work for 12 hours, he can. Then guiding spirit is going to be inclusivity. Guys, why is inclusivity important? If there is a rich person and you give 100 crore rupees more to the rich person, Anant Ambani, on his wedding, will he eat 10 more laddus? No. There is a capacity to which rich people who already have 1 lakh rupees per month and income can consume. They cannot start to eat more chapatis. Their consumption would go down. That is why if those 100 crore rupees are distributed amongst those who do not have money, they will at least start buying more Parle-G, more Colgate, more edible oil, more pulses, thereby increasing the demand for produced goods. That goods will again generate employment, profit, factor payments as we call it in economy. Okay, so inclusivity leads to increased growth. Comment. Can we frame this a question? Yes, this as a question. Yes, inclusivity leads to increased growth. How? This is how the entire circle works. Okay, now our destination is developed country, India being a Viksit Bharat. So this is the path and this is the destination as budget points out. So reforms agenda, what can be the reforms? What can be the constituents of liberalization, privatization and globalization reforms 2.0? Labor reforms, income tax code, no tax terrorism, ease of doing business, lesser compliance burden on entrepreneurs, right? Those kind of things which facilitate business rather than which discourages the entrepreneurs in the economy. We can say that this insolvency and bankruptcy code is another reform because it relieves the banks stressed assets. The loans which have turned bad, the assets which are not performing can be sold off and new activity should begin. So those kind of things. Now, increasing agricultural growth and building rural prosperity. What has the budget done for this? If it is visible to you, Kisan credit card. Earlier, the limit was it started from 10,000. As I have been studying from 2010-11 budget economic survey, when we started preparing, the Kisan credit card limit was just 10,000 rupees. Gradually, it increased to 50,000 when Pranab Mukherjee was the finance minister. P. Chidambaram was the finance minister, it was 10,000. Then Pranab Mukherjee became the finance minister, 50,000. Then 1 lakh rupees, then 2 lakh rupees. 2023, 2024, 2025, it stagnated around 3 lakh rupees per Kisan credit card. Now it has been increased to 5 lakh rupees per Kisan credit card. How does it help? Kisans, the farmers, the Annadata, as it is written in the 4 themes, he wants the temporary loans for sowing season. During the sowing season, buying a tube well, buying seeds, high yielding variety of seeds, fertilizers. Agriculture has become highly capital intensive. That is why that credit amount is borrowed from informal market commission agents to whom the farmer sells his produce after the harvest season. Now they charge interest at the rate of 30%, 35%. What if an institutionalized way of giving credit to the farmers through the banking channels, through the SBI, PNB, HDFC can be brought about? through Kisan credit cards. Okay, formal way will help them get the credit, the required amount of capital for purchasing the inputs for their farms at a cheaper rate of interest of around 8 to 10%, maximum 12%, depending upon their CIBIL score. Got it? So that is why the limit has now been increased. But what is the problem? Let me do the analysis here. Problem is, whenever the elections are round the corner, the credit, the loans borrowed by farmers through Kisan credit cards or other channels, they are then waived off, leading to huge loss for India's public sector banks. This culture also needs to be stopped by the government. Okay. Now, PM Agricultural Districts Program. So here, developing agricultural districts program. This will cover 100 additional districts, likely to help 1.7 crore farmers. Prime Minister Dhan Dhanya Krishi Yojana. In English, agricultural districts program in simple language. Okay, Pradhan Mantri Dhan Dhanya Krishi Yojana. So this is the name of the program in which 100 additional districts will be covered, which will cater to 1.7 crore farmers by giving them the credit facilities. And government is also going to invest in hybrid seeds for enhanced yield, for increasing per hectare yield of India's farmlands. Another point, then you know that coalition, how there was a question in UPSC, how can you say that, why is it said that budget is a political document? Budget translates DPSPs into rights, into practice. Various schemes are brought about. Second, budget is the instrument to keep all the coalition partners happy. Makhana board in Bihar. Since Nitish Kumar's political party is supporting NDA or BJP in forming the government, in keeping the government intact, in PM Modi remaining the Prime Minister, that is why Makhana board will be set up in Bihar. The word Bihar appears at least 7 times in the budget. Andhra Pradesh also appears, but Bihar appears more. So politics and budget are intertwined. Got it? This is just for my political science students. I mean, those of you who are watching, this is for your interview, this is for your public administration optional, and for your GS mains paper 3. Now, National Mission on High Yielding Seeds. As I said, high yielding variety of seeds. Government is going to invest in the research of these seeds also. All right. Now, this is there are more, there is Makhana board, then Mission for Cotton Productivity. Going to Maharashtra, cotton productivity 5-year mission to facilitate improvements and productivity and sustainability of cotton farming. Okay, so this is their national mission. This is targeted development and propagation of seeds. So that is there. Now coming here, Atmanirbhar in pulses. What is the reason? Everything in the budget, guys, happens because of a reason. What is the reason here? See, let me just, I think this is now, yeah, a bit more well lit, more charming I look. Now coming here, like PM Modi, we are in the selfie culture also. Just let me sip some water here. Now see, in 2021, 2022, right after inflation, I mean the COVID-19, inflation in the food was increasing like it is increasing now. We import a lot of pulses from Indonesia, Malaysia, these countries, okay? Philippines also to some extent. So we are dependent on these countries for pulses like tur dal, etc. Green revolution has always been criticized, is always criticized for remaining confined to wheat and rice. Okay, so this culture is eroding the fertility of the soil. So that is why now Atmanirbhar, why are you using Atmanirbhar word? Self-sufficiency in pulses. The word self-sufficiency would come only if we are as of now import dependent. We are import dependent for our food grains. So that is why a 6-year mission with special focus on tur, urad and masoor, emphasizing development and commercial availability. Okay, so these things are there. Now, development and commercial availability of climate resilient seeds. We need those type of seeds which are immune to high monsoon or less monsoon. Okay, enhancing protein content. If the protein content of these pulses would be increased, anemia, iron deficiency, various multivitamin deficiency would be taken care of. Then increasing productivity per hectare, productivity also needs to be taken care of. Okay, then improving post harvest storage. We in India store the food grains in open plinth area. Sometimes you would have seen outside the FCI godowns, grains are kept like this. Near they are covered with the black tarpaulin cover. Okay, there are no formal the constructed godowns, because of which they are rotten afterwards. They have to be fed to the cows and donkeys, or not cows, these days no cows. Cows, I mean, they are fed to horses and donkeys. Now, improving post harvest storage and management, assuring remunerative prices to the farmers. So, we need to have storage capacity, we need to have e warehouse receipt system. GS Mains Paper 3 topics these are: India Post as a catalyst for rural economy, rural community hub co-location. So rural community hubs can be co-located in the Indian postal network of post offices. We have a lot of post offices. Okay, so in those, within those post offices, we can have rural community hub. Community hub means from where people of a rural village can get all their facilities. Okay, facilities means like applying for Kisan credit card, applying for micro credit limit, or farmer producer organization scheme. Applications can be submitted in the India Post Office by rechristening it as rural community hub. Okay, institutional account services, direct benefit transfer, cash out and EMI pickup. EMI could be picked up from post offices itself. Secure place, common meeting point for borrowers and lenders, borrowing farmers and lending banks, microfinancial institutions. Credit services to micro enterprises could be availed from India Post offices. Insurance for Pradhan Mantri Kisan Yojana, so PM Kisan, that is there, right? Then Fasal Bima Yojana, all these benefits and their applications could be submitted at post office, right? But the problem is, I will give you the criticism also. Problem is, government is no longer recruiting the people in the post offices. Why is government doing this? Artificial intelligence has led to cut down in the job opportunities or slashing of job opportunities across the spectrum. We get to meet some people, okay, content writers in UPSC arena, the ones who used to make MCQs, this content, okay, then news media journalists, they would take help of content writers. AI has led to slashing of jobs, or at least cut down in the salaries, which is why government needs to look towards the sectors which can employ more people and provide better administrative services to the citizen clients. Farmers are the citizen clients here. If they would be given these type of services, there would be no AI in agriculture, right? At least until the robots are invented, those kind of robots. The robotics is happening in agriculture also, but yes, the extent is less. So insurance, assisted digital services, whatever digital services they need, Aadhaar enablement or Aadhaar bank account seeding, those assistance type of, those type of facilities which require assistance for passport application, for making your Aadhaar card, voter card, everything can be provided under the one roof, that of India Post offices, right? Now, see the smile on the face of this Kisan, the farmer here. Why? Supporting MSMEs and furthering Make in India. Credit cards for micro enterprises, 5 lakh rupees with the limit. Okay. For micro enterprises registered on Udyam portal. What is Udyam portal? Enterprise portal. Okay. MSME portal is there. It's a website under Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. In the first year, 10 lakh such cards will be issued. In 2025, the target is 10 lakh such cards. Scheme for first time entrepreneurs. For 5 lakh first time entrepreneurs, including women, scheduled caste, youth, scheduled tribes, a new scheme to be launched to provide loans up to rupees 2 crores. Loans up to rupees 2 crores for first time entrepreneurs. As the Prime Minister always says, that we should be job givers rather than job seekers. right? Because we need to have the culture of startups, we need to have the culture of micro enterprises, new micro enterprises being set up. So this is it. Now, leather and footwear, 2021-2026, this program was launched. Now the government has extended this Indian footwear and leather development program. Kanpur and other belts will benefit from it. Focus product scheme for footwear and leather sector. Scheme is expected to facilitate employment for 22 lakh persons. As I said, employment as a theme is visible across the budget and economic survey this year. Because of the cut down in the job opportunities, because of the recession in the export sector, government needs to increase the employment in those areas where India has got a strength, and that is why this is there, right? Measures for the toy sector to focus on development of clusters, skills, and a manufacturing ecosystem that will create high quality, unique, innovative, and sustainable toys to represent Made in India brand. So toys, footwears, leather. Support for food processing, establishment of a National Institute of Food Technology in Bihar. Economic survey yesterday, when I was going through a few chapters, it said that food processing units, otherwise 2 lakh crore rupees industry, is adulterating these items. They are not producing the items as per the standards prescribed by Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. Misinformation or brand endorsement by celebrities, all these things are leading to duping the customers, fooling the customers, consumers. That is why National Institute of Food Technology, which will play a facilitatory role, Bihar appears the third time, right? Second time at least. So Bihar. So point is coalition politics. So enhanced income for the farmers and skilling, entrepreneurship and employment opportunities for the youth. So coalition politics is visible through the budget, as I said. Now, manufacturing mission with the mandate to focus on ease of doing business, facilitation rather than regulation is the norm under Modi government. It has been the norm. So we use the terms like self-regulation. What do we mean by self-regulation? It means that economic survey says innocent until proven guilty. Rather than guilty unless until proven innocent, we should have the culture of innocent unless proven guilty. This should be the culture. Okay. So that is why ease and cost of doing business should come down. We should have future ready workforce for in demand jobs. Jobs which are in demand, IITs or ITIs should produce those type of graduates or diploma holders which are required by Airtel, Jio, or in the times of artificial intelligence. Okay, so employment measures for youth, a vibrant and dynamic MSME sector, entrepreneurship plus future ready employable workforce, in demand jobs. Availability of technology has to be there. Yes, quality products need to be manufactured so that we can compete in the global arena. Clean tech manufacturing for climate friendly development. Clean tech. The manufacturing capacity should be reoriented to meet the demand of environment, to be compliant with the eco-friendly label. Now, these are the limits for MSME. Significant enhancement of credit availability with guarantee cover. What is the guarantee cover? Understand it this way, quickly I will explain. MSMEs earlier, when they were borrowing 5 crore rupees, okay, credit guarantee fund will insure this amount. If this amount is lent by PNB and after 3 EMIs or 4 EMIs, they stop paying. After 3 EMIs, money is not recovered. Then PNB's this loan is secured by Credit Guarantee Fund set up under Ministry of Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises. So this will give the confidence to PNB that if this MSME owner fails to generate profit, despite his best efforts, this loan is secured by the guarantee fund. Okay. Earlier, this guarantee was provided for 5 crore rupees. Now it has been increased. It has been increased to 10 crore rupees. Okay. Now, startups 10 crore rupees was there till 2024, 2025, it is there. Now it has been increased to 20 crore rupees. Got it? Exporter MSMEs for term loans up to 20 crore rupees. MSMEs which are involved in the business of exporting, 20 crore rupees. So this is the norm here. Revision in classification criteria for MSMEs. Classification earlier, micro enterprises investment up to 1 crore rupees. Any enterprise which has invested up to just 1 crore rupees will be considered as micro. I'm writing them here so because it is not visible. Micro earlier it was 1 crore. Now it is 2.5 crores. Okay. Then small earlier it was up to 10 crore rupees. Now it is 25 crore rupees. That means a micro enterprises should have incentive to grow rather than to remain small. I always give an example. Imagine there is a mother having two babies, having two kids. One is 2 years and another is 1.5 years. So 2 years kid also starts dragging his feet after walking 1 kilometer because he knows that the guy who would cry more, the kid who would cry more, who would say that my legs are paining or hurting, he will be picked up by the mother in the lap. The guy who is strong will not be picked up. Government's phenomena has also been the same. Insofar as micro, small, medium enterprises are concerned, government gives incentive to micro enterprises which are smaller in size. That is why these micro enterprises, they underreport their sale. They deliberately say that they are smaller, they are not earning. They do not invest more than 1 crore rupees. Here we are talking about. Now they can invest up to 2.5 crore rupees because if they invest up to 2.5 crore rupees, they would still be given all the benefits that they are getting when they are investing just 1 crore rupees. Likewise, small enterprises, now they are investing 10 crore rupees. They do not invest more than 10 because then they fear that they will lose the tag of categorized as small enterprise. Now they can invest up to 25 crore rupees. Medium enterprises, earlier they were investing 50 crores only. Now they can invest up to 125 crore rupees and still retain the tag of being small or this medium enterprise. Okay. So why this kind of an initiative now? Because bigger industries, Tata's, Ambani's, Adani's, okay, they are globally more exposed. They are globally more interlinked. TCS, America, Infosys, America, Adani, Australia, America, their exposure is more. But now, if Donald Trump is going to increase tariffs, tax rates on the goods produced by Ambani's, Adani's, Tata's, their sales are going to, bigger companies' sales are going to go down. Why not, therefore, government thinks that why not, therefore, focus more on micro, small, and medium enterprises which are catering to domestic demand. Great, got it? So this is how the economy functions. Now, Saksham Anganwadi and Poshan 2.0, expansion of capacity in IITs, daycare cancer centers in all district hospitals. Now there will be cancer centers in all the district hospitals. Bharatiya Bhasha Pustak scheme, provide digital form of Indian language books. Why focus on this? We want people to become literate at least. And it is very easy to adopt your own vernacular language. And secondly, we are respecting our own culture, our own language this way. So rather than making English as the only language, why not teach people in vernacular? Why not help them at least have command over their own language? That is why digital Indian language mission kind of a thing. Okay. National centers, 5 national centers of excellence for skilling. Demographic dividend needs to be trained, realizes the government now. Expansion of capacity in IITs. Why IITs are producing just 2,000 mechanical or electrical or software engineers? Why only 2 to 3,000? Why not 20 to 30,000? But that will take a long time. At least 5 to 6,000 in the long medium term, next 3 to 5 years. Expansion of capacities in IITs. Right? Atal Tinkering Labs. So this goes on like this. Okay, Atal Labs will be set up for government school, in every government school, so that the culture of R&D research is there from the schooling days. Center of Excellence in Artificial Intelligence. for education with a total outlay of 500 crore. Broadband connectivity to be provided to all the government secondary schools. Expansion of medical education. PM Swanidhi to be revamped with enhanced loans from the banks. Swanidhi scheme is on your own, you can borrow loans and become entrepreneurs for women now. Welfare of online platform workers. Now digital workers, as we call them as gig economy workers, this gig economy work is leading to informalization of workers. That is why now PM Jan Arogya Yojana, gig economy workers are in a way pseudo formal sector workers working with Zomato, etc. Their jobs are not permanent. They deliver the parcel and get 25 rupees in return, 20 rupees in return. Okay, so why not at least provide them the medical insurance? So Jan Arogya Yojana coverage for gig economy workers now, right? Zomato, Swiggy, Amazon, Blinkit, all these workers. Jal Jeevan Mission support for states for infrastructure. Okay, with an outlay of rupees 1.5 lakh crore, 50-year interest-free loans. States will be given 50-year interest-free loans. Total outlay is 1.5 lakh crore rupees. So Punjab could be given, Punjab Aam Aadmi Party it is. Now, my point is, any state could borrow 15,000, 20,000 rupees depending upon the gross state development product. Aam Aadmi Party would not be given any loan. So I'm just saying this. Okay, the examples, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra could be given loans to revamp their capital infrastructure expenditure on capital infrastructure. Jal Jeevan Mission, 100% coverage of the tapped water to be extended. Now the mission has been extended till 2028 to achieve 100% tapped water coverage. Standard of water also needs to be paid equal attention. Okay, then power sector reforms. We'll talk about this at length. Incentivize distribution reforms and increasing of interstate transmission. So if Punjab is producing more electricity, okay, no, Punjab, okay, let's say Himachal is producing more electricity in summers, but consumption is more in Punjab. Interstate transmission lines, the high tension wires, this distribution from one state to another where the power plant is located, thermal or hydroelectric power plant. From, let's say, Tehri Dam in Uttarakhand, power could be supplied to UP. I've written US. Perhaps after the stampede. Okay, got it. Now, stampede that occurred in Prayagraj, I was saying. Got my point? So, interstate transmission lines will be given, then distribution, like the last mile distribution of electricity to the power meter. That distribution reform has to happen. Generation companies, transmission companies, and distribution companies of power have been separated in the last 5 to 10 years. Okay, Uttar Pradesh Vidyut Nigam. Earlier it was a bundled company, generation company also, transmission plus distribution also. Now to find out where the losses are occurring, generation has been separated from transmission. Transmission has been separated from distribution. The leakages, the theft of power, underpayment of bills, all these things are not there now. Now there are digital meters. Still, there is some way to cover. Still, some meters need to be replaced with the digital meters. So that is why incentivize distribution reforms. Government of India will incentivize those states which bring about the reforms in their distribution of electricity to households and companies. Okay. So additional borrowing of 0.5%. For this purpose, states will be given an additional borrowing of up to 0.5% of their gross state income, gross state development product. Okay, so these were the, I think, 10-15 important points that we've covered around budget. I hope this will help you. Quick discussion it was. I tried my best to cover as many points and in as much of detail as possible. Now, in the evening today, there will be another lecture which will span around 1.5 to 2 hours, detailed discussion of the schemes that you need to focus on for your UPSC and civil services exam preparation, other state PCS preparation, or any UPSC exam or any exam of the government, okay, one-day exams or any exams. The discussion will be detailed. Each and every terminology I will share on the Telegram channel, Jatin Verma, PW OnlyIAS. Link of the channel is given in the description box. So you will get to see a lot of economy related jargon, concepts and facts. Read those facts and jargon. Then we'll meet again at 9 p.m. so that you have the basic idea of what is going to be discussed in the class, and after that we connect again. I hope this was helpful to you. PDF will be shared in a short while from now on the Telegram channel, as I said. Thank you guys. Bye-bye. It was a pleasure updating myself along with you, having been studying all these things from last 10-11 years, now putting them across to you to help you ease your problems so that you do not confront or face those problems that we have faced during our time. Thank you.